My name is Jiayi, and I'm a staff engineer of Alibaba Group, and my specialty is database. Well, last year we were honored, the Alibaba database team was honored to be invited to Percona Live to share with our improvements against MySQL, aka AliSQL, our branch of MySQL. And it witnessed, and time flies, it witnessed our open source of AliSQL on the GitHub. And in the same time, last year we got lots of valuable information from Yoshi and Mark regarding Rocks DB, and found that it may benefit a lot if our business to transit our InnoDB engine to Rocks DB engine. And a year passed, and we have deployed a lot of MyRocks database to our environment. And I'm here, would like to share with you about our practice regarding MyRocks, hoping that anyone else would like to use Rocks DB or MyRocks can benefit from my session. Here comes my agenda today, and I will give you a very brief introduction about MyRocks first, and then we'll share with you our performance test against original version of MyRocks. And then I will tell you that what do we get from our transition. And after that, I will tell you that the improvements we have made against MyRocks. The final one will be where to go, means that our thoughts and our plan regarding MyRocks. Okay, this is a very brief introduction about MyRocks. And if you missed it previously, then I'll just give you a quick mention here. Rocks DB uses LSM tree, which means that which will be write-friendly to most of the cases. And Rocks DB has very high data compression ratio. Rocks DB is widely used a KV engine or storage engine. The last one is the most important one is that our team, the Alibaba database team, is active in Rocks DB open source community. And we work with Facebook closely to make sure that Rocks DB or MyRocks can be used effectively in your business. Okay, here comes some kind of issues that we are facing at Alibaba Group. I would like to do a very quick survey. Can anybody tell me that if you have ever encountered such kind of situation, that during the midnight you were called by your ops team that told you that some of your disk space has been running out of? So you have been called, you have been get up in the midnight and open up your computer and VPN back to your CorpNet and do kind of cleanup or whatever. In most of the cases, DBA can do very little in such kind of situation because you cannot delete the data without approval from your business. The only thing you can do is to see if there's any kind of wasted space, to do some very little cleanup, to go through that night. And the next day, you will talk with your developer or will talk with your application owner to see if you will be able to release some space. If their answer is no, then what you can do? What you can do is just very simple and straightforward. You can just move that database to a computer, to a server with larger space. Then there is a limitation. How large is large? How can you judge which server you move that database to? So the problem is that the space. If you can minimize the data file size, then such kind of issue can be, I cannot say that issue will be resolved totally, but such kind of issue can be, the impact can be minimized. So these are the two issues, top issues we encountered at Alibaba Group. The first one is the write amplification on the SSD. As we all know, that endurance of the SSD really depends on how you use it. In some situation, we can easily see that one SSD was broken after 1 or 2 years or even several months written to it, write to it. So This is the top one issue we encountered. The second one, as I just mentioned, that the data file keep growing, and the DBAs have to deal with the space issue every day and night maybe. So that's two issues we would like to resolve. At that point, as DengCheng and one of my colleagues, DengCheng, they come to Percona Live last year, and they got some valuable insight from Mark and Yoshi's speech. And we bring the idea back to Alibaba and bring the idea back to China. And we find that, yes, in most of the cases, it can help us. Why don't we do some test? At that point, we did some kind of profounding test against MyRocks, against original Rocks DB, and to see if that can fit our business needs. This is a test we done almost 8 months ago, or 8 or 10 months ago. At that point, we just tested against the original version of MyRocks and AliSQL version 5.6, which is based on the original version of MySQL 5.6. We can see the green line above is the AliSQL, while the blue line is the MyRocks. We can see the insert performance meet the basic requirement, while there is still room to improve. It is still a little bit slower, 30 or 40% slower than the AliSQL. I mean, the AliSQL is the original AliSQL is based on the InnoDB version. It's a little bit slower. Then it is the simple query. I mean, the simple query is just a PK query. Just give where cross, there is a PK in the where cross, and just get a simple value from it. We can see the performance, the simple query performance is not slow with the help of Bloom filter. So the average performance is almost the same as the InnoDB version. It's good. Then we think, at that point, we think that, yeah, we can give it a try. Then the third one is there is a range scan test. In the range scan test, it's slower than InnoDB, but it's still acceptable. Because of our optimization in business, we don't do lots of range scan. We don't do lots of range scan in our business. So it's acceptable, even that it's almost half of the performance. In OLTP workload, it is not that good. But it's still acceptable, I think, just from my point of view, because as you remember, that two issues I would like to resolve. The first one is the SSD endurance. The second one is that the database file keep growing. It's huge. So at that point, we think the performance is just acceptable to us in our business scenario, while the data file can be compressed dramatically. So what's our judgment? Our judgment is, what if we can just combine MyRocks with AliSQL? That's a very big topic, because we have do lots of changes against the original MySQL version. If you have interest, you can just find it on GitHub. We have open sourced it. We have do a lot of changes on it. It will be very painful. It will be very painful if we backport all these things back to MyRocks version. So it's a hard decision. And DengCheng and his team make a lot of efforts to backport all these patches, most of the patches that we think will affect performance back to MyRocks version branch. After that, here comes the performance comparison. We can see the pillar in orange. The pillar in orange is the performance of AliSQL InnoDB version, while the pillar in blue is the AliSQL Rocks DB version. We can see that insert performance is almost the same. It's almost the same. The downgrade is really very small, while the select and OLTP performance is acceptable. This is the real online system scenario, not a test. It's not a test. That is one of our core business system. What's best is, wow, that's the best thing. We can see with very small RT trade-off, we reduce the storage size to almost 1/7, which saves millions of dollars storage investment. Millions dollars storage investment. That is really impressive, really impressive. You may ask, what is the trade-off of RT? And here's the RT. As you can see that it's almost the same, I can say almost, while it's a little bit trembling there, but it's still acceptable in most of the cases. We can see that the longest RT is around 6 milliseconds, while the original one is 3 milliseconds. But in millisecond level, within 10 milliseconds, that's still acceptable to most of us. So what's the benefit we got? It's really obviously. The benefit we got out of MyRocks is, including Taobao, AliExpress, Cainiao Logistics, and offline search, and many other businesses, we have moved around, how can I say, more than 100 of business lines database from InnoDB to MyRocks DB engine. The average storage size is compressed to about 1/3 to 1/8. 1/3 to 1/8 of InnoDB according to your usage and according to the data distribution. We can see a very huge opportunity. We can see a very huge opportunity to combine the advantage of LSM tree and the bPros tree. That I will talk it later. That's our exploration regarding what we will do in the future. So here comes the known limitation of MyRocks. As we don't have online DDL support, we don't have large transaction support, it's not very well. Many parameters cannot be set dynamically. You have to restart the server. And in-memory insert performance is limited by the compaction. For example, lack of sophisticated statistics information. For example, lack of log information for transaction. We don't know the info about the space usage of a specific DB or specific table. So you don't have such kind of information. Like count, order by, or group by is slower than InnoDB. Delete, update operation will affect the efficiency of the query. If you can bear with all these things, then you can gain the space usage benefit from MyRocks. And besides all the things above, there are some other issues we encountered. The previous one are non-issue. You will be able to find it on the web. However, the later one was really encountered during our real business. The first one, unordered data write is significantly slower than ordered data. As you can imagine, that we will do a compaction every time we hold enough data in the memory. During the compaction, it will do a sort. That will be really very expensive, which will cause that unordered data write is really, really very slow. So you have to make sure that if you would like to move to MyRocks, then your business have to make the judgment whether you have such kind of behavior in your application. The second one is the performance is very poor on a high write workload. It's almost the same because there's only one single thread working for compaction, and the compaction is really very slow and inefficient at this moment. The third one is large table DDL. Large table DDL, for example, add some index or add some field may cause out of memory. We have some kind of mess because the memory management inside MyRocks is not so good at this moment, at the current version, but you can just kind of work around such kind of issue by just enable the MyRocks DB commit in the middle, that parameter. Just put that parameter to ARM, then it will release the part of the memory during the DDL. But the problem is that you lose the ability of atomic. You lose the ability of rollback, and you've broken the transaction. You've broken the transaction. So that's a trade-off you have to judge. The fourth is that the commit in MyRocks is really very heavy. It's really very heavy, which makes the whole commit process very, very slow. Very, very slow. So we have talked with Sing yesterday regarding whether we can just move part of the things we done in the commit process right now, move to the prepare period, which can make the commit process to be lightweight and be fast. So that's the issues. That's the major issues we encountered during our migration process. Here comes the improvements we made. I just list part of the issues here. Most issues are bug, which may cause the MySQL to call. That we have to fix it, because if we don't fix such kind of issue, we cannot move or we cannot put that things online. As we are the business owner, we have to make sure that our database to be online and running stably. I cannot just tell our business holder that, yes, we can move to MyRocks and it will save a lot of cost, but it will crash from time to time. It's not acceptable to most of the business. So it takes us a lot of time. It takes us 2 or 3 months to figure out all these things. And we have feed that back to Facebook on GitHub. And most of the things has been fixed in the current release. So everyone, if you would like to use MyRocks, and that is the time, because we have tested in our online system. Okay, because stable is the first thing that just like food to us. We have to survive first. And the second one is we have to live good. We have to live a good life. We have to do something more. So we add some features or we do some modifications against MyRocks as per our requirement. The first one is, as you know, Alibaba is a China company. It's a Chinese company, and I'm a Chinese. And most of the users for our company are Chinese. So we have to make sure that Chinese support has no problem. Chinese support has no problem. So we extend our character support to GTK Chinese and UTF-8. I think that kind of modification will not only benefit Alibaba, but will benefit all the CJK users. I mean, China, Japan, Korea. All the CJK users will benefit from these kind of changes. The second one is we add support for thread pool function in the server layer. As you know, that original MySQL version, we don't have thread pool support, and only the enterprise version will have that. But we worked on the MyRocks engine to provide the thread pool feature to it. The third one is add support for slow SQL filtering. I'm not sure whether you have whether you have listened to the speech that DengCheng presented last year, that we add a lot of features to MySQL. One of the important features is that SQL filtering. To me, I'm the leader of DBA, Alibaba's DBA team. Then I'm just like the captain of a group of firemen. You know that in an online system, there will be problem every day. There will be incident every day. We have to resolve the issues from time to time. We have to resolve it at once when the problem happens. So if there is one specific query cause the online system to be slowed down or cause some issue on the online system, I have thrown it. I have thrown the running of the culprit queries. So what we'll do is just put some filter on it. Make sure that For example, we limited the concurrent running of certain specific query to be 1 or 2, so it will not overwhelmingly take all the resource of the server, so the business can continue. So that feature is really very important to us. So we add that back to MyRocks. The fourth one is PK query performance optimization. That was mentioned in Chang's topic last year as well, because in Alibaba's scenario that we have lots of queries, just as I mentioned, they kind of a KV query. I just give a key in the where clause and get a value from the system. So we do lots of optimization in the optimizer to make sure that the system is highly efficient and can get back to us, can get back to the business as quick as possible. The fifth one is master-slave table-level replication in parallel. We can see the original version is in instance level, so we made that kind of change to table level, which makes the replication to be more smoothly. Okay, I would like to share with you the key takeaway. The key takeaway, if you forget all the things above that I have talked previously, then hopefully that you can get the things below. The first one is, MyRocks is not a silver bullet, cannot resolve all your issues. Your business has to judge. You have to make the judgment whether it fits or not. And it really can help you, but it really can help you minimize your overwhelming data file size by the high compression ratio. That, keep in mind, that's the CTO. That's the dollars. That's the dollars to your business. The second is, MyRocks still has a long way to go. I'm here to advocate MyRocks. I'm here to speak for it. But I have to tell you the truth, that MyRocks still have a long way to go. It's not so mature. It's not so mature as InnoDB at this moment. Even we have fixed a lot of issues, but maybe there are more issues have been detected. But we can see there's an active community. There's an active open source community in MyRocks DB. Facebook, Alibaba, and lots of other companies are actively working on it. As we all know that an active community, which is really, really very important to the success of an open source project. That's the key to the success of an open source project. Okay, what's next? I'm not sure if you still remember that, going back to the very beginning of my presentation, that we did a lot of tests against MyRocks, against the AliSQL, the B+3, against InnoDB. So one of the things that will come to our mind is that, can we just combine these two engines under one server? I mean, there's only one MySQL server, but we can have two storage engines. One is MyRocks DB, one is the InnoDB. What we can do? We can see that InnoDB provides higher performance, the better insert, better select, and the better range scan, while the MyRocks DB can provide you the high data compression. I don't familiar with your business, but I do familiar with Alibaba's business, because that's my own business. If I don't familiar with it, my boss will just let me go. So there's a very special feature in our transactional system, is that the active data will just be, for example, a transaction started today, and it will be active in the following few days. After that, because we are e-commerce business, so after 1 or 2 months, this kind of data, nobody will touch it. We'll not touch it frequently. We will only just try to fetch the data in very few situations. For example, I just want to check what kind of things I brought 1 year ago. In which frequency you will do such kind of query. You will do it once or twice a year. It's really very seldom. So we can just put such kind of data, such kind of so-called cold data in the MyRocks DB engine and put the real transaction, the online data in InnoDB engine. And we can set a trigger that after some time, we just move the data from the InnoDB engine to MyRocks DB engine. In that situation, we can just get the benefit of both MyRocks DB engine and InnoDB engine. So, which will be a very huge success to our business. The total cost of ownership will be just decreased dramatically. So that's the things we are working on in this year, and hoping that the next year I can just share with you our new progress in this area. So that's all for my talk today. And if you have interest in MyRocks DB and you would like to use it, just feel free to let us know. Then we can see if we can help in that situation. The last one, which is most important one, is we are really hiring. If you have interest in the database kernel developer, if you have interest in maintaining a high transaction OLTP system, just feel free to let me know. And there's my contact information. Thank you. Thank you all.